Let me tell you something. I know you're here for a reason. Maybe you've been feeling like something in your relationship just isn't flowing the way it used to. Maybe you want to truly understand the woman by your side, or maybe you just want to be the man she never wants to lose. Whatever brought you here, stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you today is going to change the way you see all of this. And look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're going straight to the point. Honest, no fluff, none of that self-help book stuff. Deal? So here we go. Because most men, especially older men who grew up in an era when sex was a forbidden topic, something whispered in hallways, these men never really learned how to listen to what a woman truly desires. And it's not their fault. Nobody taught them. And women, they don't say it out loud either. Why? Because they're afraid of coming across as too much, of scaring someone off, of being judged. So they stay quiet, pretend everything's fine, and slowly drift away while the man doesn't even notice. This happens every single day, in millions of relationships. And today, we're going to break that cycle. Now, the first thing you need to understand, and this is going to sound simple, but it's not, is that a woman's desire starts long before the bedroom, way before. It actually starts in the morning, before the first cup of coffee. You know that moment when you're heading out for work, she's still in her pajamas, hair all messy, and you could just wave goodbye and leave? That's exactly the moment. Because when you stop, look at her for real, hold her face in your hands and say, "You know you're beautiful like this, right?" Something lights up inside her that lasts the whole day. That's not an exaggeration. That's just how it works. A woman's body responds to emotional desire before it responds to anything physical. And the men who understand this, who invest in these small moments that seem like nothing, are exactly the men women can't stop thinking about. She'll get to work, and that scene will come back to her. She'll text you in the middle of the afternoon. She'll come home different. All because of a gesture that took 30 seconds. And let me ask you something. When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you stopped in the middle of an ordinary day and showed her you wanted her? Not because it was the right time, not because it was Saturday night, but just because here's something women feel deeply and almost never say out loud. They get exhausted being the thermometer for what can or can't happen. Think about it. She's waiting for you to make a move. She's wondering, does he still want me? While you're sitting right next to her watching TV. And over time, that silence builds an invisible wall. It's not that she lost interest. It's that she stopped expecting anything. And when she stops expecting, that's when the real problem starts. So, when I talk about taking initiative, I'm not talking about the mechanical, predictable kind. The every Saturday night we do this thing. I'm talking about initiative with intention. Walking into the kitchen while she's cooking dinner, wrapping your arms around her from behind, pressing your face against her neck and whispering, "I've been missing you." That's what she wants. Not a big production, not an elaborate plan. She wants to feel that you want her right now, in this moment, exactly as she is. Imperfect, tired, hair up, dish towel in her hand. When you do that, you knock down in seconds the walls she's been building without even realizing it. But here's something a lot of men completely overlook, and it makes all the difference. The environment. And I'm not talking about scented candles and rose petals. I'm talking about something much more practical than that. Women, unlike men, can't just flip a switch and be fully present. While you can shut off thoughts about work, bills, and problems, she's still processing. Her mind works differently. She's still thinking about the kid who has a test tomorrow, the message she didn't reply to, the grocery list. That's not high maintenance. That's not a lack of interest. That's just how her brain is wired. And when you understand that, you stop taking it personally and start doing things differently. You start creating space, turning the TV down, putting your phone face down on the table, saying, "Tonight is ours, the kids go to bed early." These little things that seem like details are actually the most powerful move you can make, because what you're saying to her through those actions is, "I planned this moment. I thought about you. You matter enough for me to create this space." And she feels that. She feels it deeply. Now let me tell you something you've probably never thought about quite like this. At some point in longer relationships, the kiss disappears. Not the little, hey, I'm home peck. Not the automatic goodnight kiss, but the real kiss. The slow, present, unhurried kiss that has nowhere to be. And when that kiss disappears, it takes a whole layer of intimacy with it that's very hard to get back. Most women who are unhappy in relationships don't complain about sex. They complain about the absence of a real kiss, about not feeling that their partner still desires them in a way that goes beyond the obvious. And when you bring that kiss back, for no reason without trying to lead it somewhere else, just because you wanted to, she's completely caught off guard. In the best way, she stops. She looks at you differently, because she wasn't expecting that anymore. Try it today. Go up to her, kiss her slowly, no rush, no agenda. And when the kiss ends, let it end. Smile, and go back to whatever you were doing. You can thank me later. And speaking of kisses, there's something that needs to be talked about here because it's one of the biggest female desires that almost nobody mentions. Touch that wants nothing in return. It sounds almost too simple to be true, but that's exactly it. A woman can tell, very clearly, when every touch you give her has an ulterior motive behind it. When the only time you really hold her is when you want something to happen. And over time, that creates a really damaging association. Your touch starts to feel like a demand, not affection. And she starts pulling back without even understanding why. Now, imagine the opposite. You walking over to the couch, sitting next to her, gently putting your arm around her shoulders, just because you wanted to be close, running your fingers through her hair while she's reading, holding her hand in the car, saying nothing, just because. These touches build an emotional bank account that you can draw from whenever you need. Not in a calculating way, but because real intimacy is born exactly from this, feeling desired beyond the obvious. How many times a week do you touch her without wanting anything? If that answer took a while to come, this one was written for you. Here's another thing women are dying to hear and almost never actually get. Specific compliments. And there's a huge difference between "you're beautiful" and "the way you laugh completely disarms me." The first one is nice. The second one is intimacy. The first one she hears and forgets. The second one she replays in her head before she falls asleep. Because a specific compliment shows her you were paying attention, that you actually saw her. And being truly seen by someone, not who you pretend to be, but who you really are, is one of the most powerful human experiences that exists. So starting this week, pay attention to her details. The way she tilts her head when she's thinking. The way she lights up when she's excited about something. The perfume she wears when she's in a good mood. And when you notice one of those things, say it. No fanfare, no ceremony. You know you're so gorgeous when you get excited about something, right? That's it. It'll land harder than any expensive gift you've ever given her. And here we get to something that might be the most important of all, and also the hardest to hear. A woman wants to be able to say what she feels, what she wants, what she doesn't like, without being afraid of how you're going to react. That sounds obvious, but in practice it almost never exists. You know when she says, "It's fine"? Most of the time it isn't. You know when she stops complaining about something that used to bother her? It's not because she accepted it. It's because she learned it doesn't help to bring it up. At some point she tried to talk and you got defensive, or you shut down in a way that hurt. And she internalized that it's not safe to open up with you. And so what happens is she starts keeping everything inside and slowly drifts away while you can't figure out why things went cold. Creating emotional safety doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means listening without interrupting, resisting the urge to justify yourself right away, saying "thank you for telling me that," even when what she said stung. When a woman feels like she can truly talk to her partner, that's when she opens up in every sense of the word. That emotional safety is the most powerful aphrodisiac that exists, bar none. And now here's one that a lot of people will recognize but few will admit. Routine. That's the biggest silent killer of female desire. Not the routine of running the house, going to work, raising kids. That's just life, and that's okay. But emotional routine. Total predictability. She already knows what you're going to say. She already knows how you'll react. She already knows what's happening Saturday night. She already knows the tone of voice you'll use when you're in a bad mood. When everything is completely predictable, Desire slowly dies. And she can't even explain why, because on the surface everything seems fine, but inside she's aching for that beginning energy, that spark, those butterflies. And you can bring that back without spending a single dollar. Send her a text in the middle of the afternoon for no reason. I've been thinking about you. Come home early one day because you missed her. Suggest going out to dinner on a random Thursday night with zero planning. Reserve a weeknight. Just the two of you. Phones away. These are small gestures that create a big break in predictability. And it's exactly in that break that desire breathes again. There's another desire that women rarely put into words, but that makes an enormous difference. They want to be talked to. Not just small talk. They want you to actually connect with them before, during, and after intimate moments. Sounds strange? Let me explain. Before, a real conversation at the end of the day, a moment of actual connection, talking about how the day went, laughing together about something dumb that lights a fire in her that no technique in the world can replace. During, talk to her. Don't go completely silent like it's a task to be completed. Ask if it feels good. Tell her what you're feeling. A word whispered in her ear can completely change the experience. And after, don't roll over and pass out. Stay. Talk. Give her that hug that says, I'm still here. That moment after is, for many women, just as important as everything that came before it. Sometimes more. And when you do that, when you stay present afterward too, you send her a very clear message. You're not just there for the moment. You're there for her. And now the last one. And this is the one that hurts the most when it's missing. And the one that transforms everything when it's there. Presence. Not being in the same room. Not sleeping in the same bed. Not eating at the same table. Real presence is when you're with her and she can actually feel that you're there. No phone in your hand. No eye on the score. No head stuck in a work problem. I'm talking about looking her in the eyes when she speaks. Laughing at her joke without being distracted. Holding her hand at the movies without checking your phone. Asking how she's doing. For real. Not as protocol. And being present enough to actually hear the answer. Because a woman can sense, with unsettling accuracy, when you're present and when you're not. She might not say anything. She probably won't. But she keeps track. And over time, she gets used to not needing you. And when a woman reaches the point of not needing you anymore, of having learned to be happy alone inside her own relationship, that is very hard to come back from. Real, full, undistracted presence is what she desires most. More than gifts, more than trips, more than anything material. She wants you, the real you, actually there. So look, if you made it this far, and you did, you're already different. Because most men would have stopped halfway through thinking they already know everything, that they don't need any of this. But you stayed. And that alone says a lot about who you are and what you want to build. Now go pick just one thing, just one, from everything you heard today. It can be the kiss for no reason. It can be the touch that wants nothing. It can be the mid-afternoon text. Pick one and put it into practice this week. You'll feel the difference. And so will she. And if this content made sense to you, if you recognized real moments from your own life in here, share it with a friend who you know needs to hear this. Because sometimes we change an entire relationship just by passing a video along. See you next time.